Of the sixth day of creation described in the book of Genesis, Valentin Tomberg writes, "The sixth day of creation in Genesis is an account of the origin of the animal kingdom and of the human being, corresponding to their archetypes. The account of the sixth day therefore includes the divine cosmic archetype of heredity, just as the account of the seventh day contains the divine cosmic archetype of marriage. Here, the archetype of the human being is God himself. God created humans in God's own image. In the image of God, God created them. Male and female, God created them. On the other hand, the animals, each according to its kind, were brought forth from the earth and were formed, made by God, corresponding to their archetypes. Vertical heredity was being made in the image of God, where humans inherited the characteristics of God. But again, as is the case with every other day of creation, the forms and relationships created by God were distorted as a consequence of the fall. The sickness of the fall, Tomberg explains, was a transition from the vertical nature of inheritance, in which humans were made in the image of God, to one that is horizontal, where humans instead mirror their ancestors through the poisoned stream of heredity. Thereby, heredity, as we know it, became a horizontal stream in the sequence of time, transmitting not only the original mirroring of the archetype, but also everything that entered into the stream of generations with the fall, and that has occurred in the stream since the fall. Therefore, the healing of the nobleman's son is a symbol for the restoration of this vertical heredity. In the Gospel of John, we learn the story of an official who begged Jesus to come and heal his sick son before he died. "Sir, come down before my little boy dies," the nobleman asked. Jesus replied to him, "Go, your son will live." Before the man had arrived back home, he received word that his child would live. Of this miracle, Tomberg explained, "The second miracle of the Gospel of St. John, the healing of the nobleman's son, comprises the transformation of the relationship father-son, i.e. heredity, from being a stream transmitting sickness to a stream transmitting healing. The second miracle of the John Gospel is the event, sign, and teaching, which has to do with the divine archetypal heredity of the sixth day of creation. It has to do with the distortion of this vertical heredity through the fall, in that the original relationship to the image and likeness of God, as it was on the sixth day of creation, was restored by the Father, bringing his Son into a direct relationship to the divine archetype through his faith in Jesus Christ, the new Adam. He himself, as the earthly father and model for the Son, retired into the background, as it were. He brought his Son into connection with the new Adam, who, in place of himself, entered into the hereditary relationship, father-son. Thus, the healing of the nobleman's son took place." So looking at this diagram again, we see how the vertical heredity of the sixth day of creation, in which humans were created in the image of God, was lost as a consequence of the fall and replaced with the poisonous stream of horizontal heredity. Therefore, the work of the second miracle of Jesus in the Gospel of John was in part a symbol for the restoration of that vertical relationship. Here we see how the nobleman inherited the fallen state of Adam through horizontal heredity and passed on that sickness to his son. But the appeal to Jesus on the behalf of his son, where the nobleman, in the words of Tomberg, retired into the background, restored that vertical relationship with Christ as the new Adam, taking the place of the fallen Adam.